Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. NPR reports on a significant diplomatic event held in Islamabad, Pakistan. Officials from the United States and Iran convened for historic face-to-face talks, marking a rare direct engagement between the two nations. The primary objective of these discussions was to explore avenues for a possible resolution to the prolonged conflict that has deeply affected and engulfed much of the Middle East region. This meeting represents a crucial step in international efforts to de-escalate regional tensions and foster stability. Britain has announced it is pausing its plan to transfer ownership of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, following a reversal of support from the Trump administration, UPI reported. The deal, which would have allowed both countries continued use of the crucial Diego Garcia military base, cannot proceed without U.S. backing. President Donald Trump, who initially supported the transfer, withdrew his endorsement earlier this year, calling it a great act of stupidity. His change of heart came weeks before the U.S. and Israel began the war in Iran, with Trump indicating the need for potential military use of the Diego Garcia base. The planned transfer stemmed from Britain's efforts to address its colonial history and comply with a 2019 International Court ruling deeming its separation of the Chagos from Mauritius illegal. However, former permanent secretary in Britain's Foreign Office, Simon MacDonald, noted that open hostility from the U.S. president forced the UK government to rethink, effectively putting the agreement into the deep freeze. NHK reports that multiple U.S. media outlets have stated several U.S. Navy ships transited the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday. This marks the first such passage by U.S. warships since the commencement of the U.S.-Israel military campaign against Iran. According to Axios, a U.S. official confirmed the ships sailed through the strait into the Gulf and back, an operation described as focusing on freedom of navigation in international waters. Sources suggest the maneuver aimed to bolster confidence for commercial shipping in the waterway, which has remained largely closed despite a U.S.-Iran ceasefire. The transit coincided with ongoing peace talks between the two nations in Pakistan. However, Iran's Tasnim news agency, linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, reported that Iran warned a Pakistani mediator that any continued U.S. vessel movement towards the strait would face targeting, potentially damaging negotiations. The agency also claimed a U.S. destroyer was forced to retreat after an Iranian warning. This Sunday, voters in Hungary will participate in elections that could potentially mark the end of Prime Minister Viktor Orban's extensive 16-year tenure. As reported by NPR, Orban is recognized as Europe's longest-serving leader and has notably maintained alliances with Presidents Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. The outcome of these upcoming polls is crucial, as it will determine the political future of a figure whose populist governance has shaped Hungary for nearly 2 decades, and whose international relationships have drawn significant attention. According to Xinhua.net, U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, forces initiated mine clearance operations in the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday, April 11, aiming to establish safe passage through the vital waterway. 2 U.S. Navy guided missile destroyers, USS Frank E. Peterson and USS Michael Murphy, were reported to have transited the strait and operated in the Arabian Gulf as part of this broader mission. CENTCOM stated their objective is to ensure the strait is completely clear of sea mines previously laid by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps. Commander Brad Cooper of CENTCOM announced the start of establishing a new passage, which will soon be shared with the maritime industry to encourage the free flow of commerce. The command also indicated that additional U.S. forces, including underwater drones, are expected to join the clearance effort in the coming days. However, Iranian media presented a differing account, reporting that no U.S. vessels have yet crossed the Strait of Hormuz and one U.S. destroyer allegedly turned back after receiving a warning from Iran. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.